In the shadowed corridors of ancient history, a peculiar and unsettling episode unfolds, challenging the very fabric of faith and identity. The Book of Ezra, a narrative woven with threads of divine will, human ambition, and political maneuvering, reveals a world where the power of God seems to wane, and the will of human rulers rises to the forefront. This is not a tale of divine miracles or unassailable faith, but a complex interplay of politics, religion, and the human condition. The story of the rebuilding of the temple in Jerusalem, a sacred endeavor that should have been a testament to God's omnipotence, instead becomes a battleground of human wills and political machinations. The narrative begins with the return of the Jews from their Babylonian exile, a return orchestrated by the Persian king Cyrus. This return is not a miraculous intervention by God, but a political decision by a human ruler. Cyrus, described as being roused by the Lord, issues a decree allowing the Jews to return to Jerusalem and rebuild their temple. However, the language of the text suggests a more pragmatic reality. Cyrus, a powerful and strategic king, sees the potential benefits of allowing the Jews to rebuild their temple. The decree is couched in terms that highlight the king's authority and benevolence, with God's role appearing as a secondary, almost passive, endorsement. The Jews, upon their return, face immediate opposition from the Samaritans, a mixed group of native and immigrant peoples who have adopted the worship of the Lord. These Samaritans, eager to participate in the rebuilding of the temple, offer to help, stating, "Since we seek the welfare of your God and have been sacrificing to him since the time of King Esarhaddon of Assyria, who brought us here, let us build with you." This offer, which should have been a moment of unity and cooperation, is met with a stark refusal. The Jews, invoking the authority of King Cyrus, declare, "It is not for you and us to build a house to our God, but we alone will build it to the Lord God of Israel, in accord with the charge that the King Cyrus of Persia, laid upon us." The refusal is significant because it highlights a shift in the relationship between God and his people. In the past, God's will was clear and unchallenged. When Moses led the Israelites out of Egypt, God's presence was overwhelming, and his commands were absolute. The law given at Mount Sinai was a testament to God's irresistible will and the fearful violence that enforced it. However, in the Book of Ezra, God's role is more ambiguous. The Jews do not say that God has forbidden the Samaritans from helping. Instead, they appeal to the authority of the Persian king. This suggests that God's will is now interpreted through the lens of human authority, and the divine is secondary to the political. The Samaritans, thwarted in their attempt to participate, turn to political means to sabotage the rebuilding effort. They write a letter to the Persian king, claiming that the rebuilding of Jerusalem will lead to sedition and rebellion. The king, swayed by their arguments, issues a new decree halting the construction. The work on the temple stops, not because God has intervened, but because a human ruler has changed his mind. This sequence of events raises a profound question. If God is the true agent, why does the work stop when a human king decides it should? And why does it resume only when a subsequent king allows it? The text does not provide a clear answer. leaving the reader to interpret the role of God in these events. The story takes a turn when, years later, the work on the temple resumes, prompted by the prophetic encouragement of Haggai and Zechariah. Zerubbabel and Jeshua, the leaders of the Jewish community, restart the construction, and the Persian governor inquires whether they have the necessary authorization. This time, the king confirms the original decree, and the work is completed. The dedication of the temple is a moment of joy, but it is a joy tempered by the realization that the temple's completion is more a result of human effort and political support than divine intervention. The role of God in the Book of Ezra is further complicated by the figure of Ezra himself. Ezra, described as a scribe expert in the teaching of Moses, receives a commission from King Artaxerxes to regulate Judah and Jerusalem according to the law of God. The king's endorsement of the Jewish law is significant because it suggests that the law, which was once a direct command from God, is now subject to the approval of a human ruler. Ezra's commission is a blend of religious and political authority, with the king's approval being the ultimate arbiter. This blurring of lines between divine and human authority is a marked departure from the earlier narratives of the Tanakh, where God's will was clear and unchallenged. Ezra's awareness of this complexity is evident in his actions and words. Before leading a large delegation of Jews from Babylon to Jerusalem, he orders a fast and prayer for a safe journey. He is acutely aware of the tension between relying on God's protection and the practical need for human support. He does not ask the king for soldiers to protect them, even though he has the king's favor, because he is committed to the idea that God's benevolent care is sufficient. However, this commitment is tinged with a sense of vulnerability and uncertainty. Ezra's prayer and fast are as much a testament to his faith as they are a reflection of the practical realities of their journey. The most poignant expression of this tension is found in Ezra's long prayer in chapter 9. In this prayer, Ezra confesses the sin of the returned exiles, who have intermarried with the local peoples. He speaks to God, but his words are as much a call to action for the Jews as they are a plea to God. Ezra's prayer is a blend of classic Israelite prophecy and psalm-like confession, but it is ultimately a form of preaching. He uses the language of prayer to rally the people, exhorting them to take action and expel the foreign wives and children. The effect of his prayer is dramatic, leading to a mass divorce and expulsion. This action, while justified within the moral framework of the Tanakh, is morally questionable by modern standards. However, it underscores the complexity of Ezra's role as a religious leader who must navigate the tensions between divine will and human action. In conclusion, the Book of Ezra presents a world where the role of God is ambiguous, and the will of human rulers is paramount. The rebuilding of the temple, a sacred endeavor that should have been a testament to God's omnipotence, is instead a testament to human effort and political support. The divine is present, but it is an attributed reality rather than a demonstrated one. The story of Ezra is a powerful reminder of the complexities of faith and the enduring human struggle to find meaning in a world where the divine is often elusive.